right, so Cpd Framework. Now, just like in science, we said that, or we know that the skeleton is the framework of the human body. So when you're saying, talk about continuous professional development framework, it means that it's a document that highlights professional development activities, process, procedures, and products that define teacher career growth. Now, in the previous session, we learned about the national teaching standards, right? Now, those standards are put into full force through the Cpd. It's a Cpd that will activate the teaching standards. Is that okay? So, the framework. Why Cpd? Why do you think that as professionals we should have not just PD, which is what? Professional development, but Cpd, continuous professional development. Why do you think so? Let's take ideas. Why do you think there should be continuous professional development?
I believe that education is dynamic. Things continually changing. As things changes, so also the professional man must change to follow the trend on the time.
All right. Let's give him a parliamentary cheers. All right. Any other contribution again? Why we need continuous professional development? Oh yeah, it's important because once you are progressing professionally, your pocket also will be increasing small, right? Yes, it will not be the same. Once your ranks are increasing, some small things will be coming on it for you. So there's financial merit also or benefit for professional development. So we are saying that to develop our profession, it is a continuous something. It's not something that we do it only once. That's why in the ranks, there's no stop. When you're in rank 1, you have to move to rank 2, rank 3, right? And to move to these ranks, you need to continuously develop the way you are professionally. Now, we have atomic theory, solar system, rotational evolution. Okay. Now, these are some issues we have in our system, right? Both in our educational system and also in the world at large. We know about the atomic theory, right? Solar system. Now, we know the solar system keep on changing. Sometimes they tell you they have discovered new planets. Is that also? So these are things that are in the system, but if you look at the old curriculum content, there were things that have been updated which were not previously there. Is that also? So these things are changing, and therefore we need to learn and also update ourselves and get abreast with the content or the contemporary content of this curriculum. We also have the rotation and revolution, geocentrism and heliocentrism, ICT migration, issues on gender and sex. These are pertaining issues that are current, and therefore they are finding their way into the curriculum. And it's only through training that get to know most of these things and then apply them or teach them well in your classes. Let's move on. All right, so we have example of why we need to learn. Why do we need to learn? Because we all had our training, right? And we learned everything we need to know. But why do we still need to learn again? All right, so we are saying that Dr. Bloom's taxonomy gives a hierarchy of the domain for learning, right? We say we have the knowledge, that's the base. We have the comprehension. Then from the comprehension, once you understand, you begin to apply the knowledge. So application. From application, what do? You do the analysis. Then you do evaluation. And then you get to the educational objective level. Because we are saying that our curriculum is structured in a way that it will make the learners learn in a whole way. They don't learn in one specific direction. Is that also? So we say it's the creative pedagogies. use ways that will employ all the aspects of the learning phases. So the domain is like this. From knowledge, you apply what you know, what you learn in class. When a student can recall or memorize it, you say they have the knowledge. If they can translate it into something meaningful, you say they are what? They understand it. Is that not so? Then how do they apply the knowledge they learn? There are many instances where the students just have the theoretical knowledge. As a student, what is photosynthesis? They will rattle it. What are the parts of the leaf? They will mention it. But you plug a leaf and ask a student to show me a particular part, and they find it difficult to even do that, right? The application. When they get the knowledge, are they able to apply it in the field? All right, let's continue. So later it was modified by Anderson and Krator. They modified this one into this simple format, right? They have just modified this one to this one. So they are saying that the basis, here was knowledge, but here is what? Remember, right? Once they can recognize some patterns, and then they can record the facts. And that was mostly done in our examinations. Define this. Once they can define those things or record those facts, we are saying that what? They know it, or they can remember it. Then we have understanding. After you're able to record this fact, do you understand even the definition of the word or the scientific system you are describing? Do you understand it very well? So you have to understand the fact you are saying, the fact. Can you understand what you are saying? When a student is defining a term, are they just defining words? Or when it comes to its practical aspect, they understand the very word or the very thing or the very concept they are explaining? Or are they just rattling it? So once you can remember, you should understand. And once you can understand, it's expected that you should be able to apply it. So applying the facts. The students have learned that for a plant to grow, it needs sunlight, right? It needs some nutrients. It needs some factors. Now this student now goes home. The parents have planted a flower outside. And then the student decides to cover the flower with a plastic. The student rattled and gave the conditions for plant growth in classroom. In the house, is the student able to apply it and know that once you cover that plant with a plastic rubber, you are depriving the plant for what? The factors you mentioned in school that will cause the plant to grow. So you're able to apply the knowledge. Analyze. So the student that we're having should be able to analyze things. One area that we fall in this part of the world is that we are more focused on the knowledge, the content. But our students fail most of the time when it comes to analysis, so that when you ask them very practical questions, they find it very difficult to explain. I once went for an interview when I was in junior high school, and they asked me a question. I was asked, in this room that you are, show us the dimensions, the length, the breadth, and the height. Do we just show it on a board to the student, length, breadth, height? And the student cannot even analyze and give the various dimensions in the building they are in. So after they're able to apply, they're able to analyze also. Then creativity. When you are singing the song, learners of today, don't be afraid, right? He said you have 4 C's, right? So creativity is there. And also even the 4 R's, creativity is there again, right? One area that we are also lacking is creativity. How creative are our learners? How do we imbibe the knowledge in them so that they become creative and come out with innovative solutions to problems that we have in the environment and the society? So the baseline where most of the people fall, the learners fall, is the last one, they remember. But as we move up, the numbers decrease. And that's where, as we move up, that's where it is even needed more. Right? But that area, you see that we have only few people who understand or who can apply or who are at those stages. But I want to move our learners from just remembering and recalling things to being creative. Is that okay? How can we do this? We have to inculcate or put these things in our teaching. Now I want to teach learners how to speak in public. So there's communication also in the things you mentioned, right? So when you give them assignments, sometimes you can let them come and read it in front of their peers. Is that also? It's not only about maybe marking it alone. Instead of marking it, it can be like presentation. So students stands, they nominate somebody who then stands in front of the class to even present what their findings are. Right? So in that instance, you are moving up the ladder. You are not just at the remembering stage. All right, let's continue. All right, so the InService Teacher and the NTC. So who is an InService Teacher? We have already known that, right? We are saying a person employed by virtue of being trained as a teacher and receive salary in that respect. So we have two categories of InService. We have those who are in the classroom and those who are in the administrative aspect. Then also, some are trained as teachers, but they are found in education office and the rest. They are not in the classroom, but they are doing office or administrative duties. So teacher in the classroom, then teacher in administrative or management position. So an headmaster can be somebody in the administrative or the management position, if only the person is not teaching, right? Okay, let's continue. What is expected in the InService Teacher? Okay, so we are saying that primary and GHS teachers are expected to attend both supply and demand-driven CPD activities. The CPD activities is in two ways, or is in two ways. We have the demand one, and we have the supply-based one also. Now, example, this one here is a demand CPD activity. We also have the supply-driven also, but later we'll be looking at it in our slide, so I would like to draw more emphasis on that here. Now, I say that in addition to teachers should also embark on self-initiative activities such as writing of a book chapter, conducting action research, attending conferences, marking scripts, etc. The details are in the CPD framework. So if you have a copy of the CPD framework, it's just about activities that the teacher can go through. And very soon you will see the three categories of activities that we have. There are three. You see it very soon. So you're saying as a teacher, sometimes you should have the curiosity, right, to learn. You have what we call the intellectual curiosity. You should be yearning to learn, yearning to read, yearning to go beyond the content of the textbook. Because we have more information out there. So we need to blend all these ones with what you teach. You can only do something about reading outside and reading more materials, doing self-searching, research, and learning. Then teachers are to show evidence of how they demonstrate professionalism in their in their practice. So we are saying that the teaching profession has some ethics, right? And there are some standards that are expected to be exhibited by the teacher. So at all levels of the teaching, you need to show this professionalism. And if you know most of them, when you take the framework or the document, it outlines some of these things that is expected of the teacher.